All right. So you ready to get this started?
Yes, please.
All right. So first off, um, tell me about how you met the rest of the Game Life crew.
Oh, well, in when was it? December 2005. I remember my years for some reason. I was like 15 years old at the time. Um, GameLife had already posted their first episode, and it was this 45-minute, and for lack of a better word, a little bit of a train wreck. And it was just like cameras pointed at DS screens with glare, and nobody could really tell what was going on. I'm like, this is the best thing in the world. So, being that I was 15, I was super ambitious
Side note, Jeff would like me to add that he misspoke. He was 16.
and not jaded by age or something like that. So I decided, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot my own little segment, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and submit it to the guys. They saw it and they somehow liked it. Not sure why, but it was my Halo 2 segment in episode 2. They ended up just adding me as
Hmm.
a guest member that ended up being a permanent member later on.
Interesting. It was that simple.
Yeah, it was incredible. I didn't know the guys before. I nobody knew me at all. I just randomly just shot a video. I've never really done videos or anything before. That actually just started my whole let's make videos for fun thing.
Yeah. So in that vein, what was your inspiration for Jeff the character, if there even was one?
Oh, that's a very good one actually. So this one is still one that I'm learning to this day actually. But for Jeff the character, he was a his personality changed from episode to episode
Mm-hmm.
because it was more about like, hey, you know, let's do something kind of weird and I guess appropriately shocking for game life, like because you have this wonderful crew over here with varying personalities. You had Melissa, you had Andrew. Let's just put someone who is probably a little bit crazy on the side over here. So I decided it was a funny fit, and way back then I thought it was funny. When I look at it now, I kind of wince away and look away from the screen. But yeah, my inspiration was basically like this is way back then. I was like watching like Tom Green and um, various other like off the wall personalities, and I thought it was like this is cool. Whoa, and here's 15-year-old me just going crazy over watching the stupidest things I could find on my 56K connection,
Mm-hmm.
all that fun stuff. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so it was kind of you filling a niche then.
I wouldn't say a niche per se. It was actually kind of close to the like it was before the angry video game nerd
Mm-hmm.
became a thing, so I didn't really know him, but I did see a lot of parallels drawn between uh, uh, this personality that I created and the angry video game nerd. Obviously, one lasted a lot longer than the other, but I really loved James back then. So I definitely do think like when I started seeing what content he was making, I was inspired by that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was contemporary with you guys, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So the media started giving you guys attention after a while. Tell me about that media attention you were getting.
Yeah, sure. So it was kind of crazy because it happened kind of all at once. So something awful back when that was like a really really big website. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones that actually got me interested in the show before I even knew or contacted them. They posted Game Life episode 1 on their front page or something like that, and then later on, I believe it was. So episode 2 came out. It got a ton of publicity. I remember like NeoGaf really really liked it. I don't know, that might
Mm.
have been like uh God, how long ago was that? Um but then after that, I remember when episode 3 came out, we had a professional like outlet. I think it was Kotaku or something. They picked up on Game Life, and it was crazy because from there on out, it was just like it was going wild. We had um we had One Up, which was like the guys that own EGM or something.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Yeah, yeah.
They ended up giving us all a pass to get to E3 that year, E3 2006, I believe it
Okay.
was. Yeah, and then everything started blowing up. Beyond that, I forgot when, but at one point, MTV actually picked up like a subsegment of the show that was aired on their little streaming service called the G Hole, and I believe MTV2. I'm not entirely sure about that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
you're right.
oh, oh, wow, you know
I've
more
been
than
doing
I do.
yeah. No, I've been doing research, dude.
I honestly did not know, like 100% that it actually went on like live
Yeah,
TV.
it
So
was
thank you.
it was I don't think it went on live TV. It was for their online stuff that they were calling
Mm,
Overdrive. Side note, I was wrong about this part in the interview. It did go on live TV, but it was also hosted online. Don't worry, the main video does reflect this fact. Okay, back to the interview.
gotcha. Yeah, that was for the main three cast members, which was Alex, Andrew, and Dave.
Mhm. So
But yeah,
you weren't involved in that then?
no, I wasn't actually.
Okay. Like just what was there a particular reason?
Because the three guys were all local, and they just wanted it was a 1 minute segment
Oh,
essentially.
okay.
So, um, I'm not sure if you do you have a copy of those?
I do. Yes.
You do. Okay, great. Yeah. So you can see that's all three of them, like all huddled around like the family
Oh, wait,
bedroom or something.
you mean the overdrive segments? I do not.
Oh, you
Do
don't?
you have those?
It's I potentially might be able to find them. I don't have. Yeah, I'll let you know after this. But
Okay.
yeah, I will do my best. How about
Please.
that?
Yes, please.
They were pretty good, honestly. I like them a lot. But yeah.
So
But anyway,
was it filmed in their own studios then, in MTV's studios?
no,
Okay.
it was filmed inside of their parents' bedroom or something, or living room or something like that. So.
I almost sprayed tea all over my microphone. Okay, so they were filming it themselves.
Yes, they were. Yeah,
Gotcha.
MTV was. Yeah, they just they allowed Andrew to edit it, but they gave him like a 60-second time limit. So you know
I see.
the juice of it all, it really wasn't there. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still fun in its own little unique way.
Sure. So as the show was going on, as the months passed, how did the progression of the show change?
So
Like, tell me about the progression of the show as the months went on.
so the progression of the show, what so when the show first started, it was like I don't know, like remedial, like Windows Movie Maker or something, or iMovie. It was like incredibly just like unrefined and what would I say, crass, I guess.
Hmm.
And then as time went on, Andrew learned how to, and Andrew was the editor, excuse me. Andrew ended up learning how to edit everything together, how to actually use the, I guess, automated tools of iMovie or something like that to like give himself a little bit of a presentation, and that ended up looking, I don't know, pretty good overall, I believe. Um, and as time kind of went on, the show's production started kind of it became a little bit like self-aware, like on the nose. Like they were always self-aware, but like they never really hit on the nose. They were just kind of like doing their own thing and not really taking in the feedback of the internet. But then like Dave started doing this WWE I'm leaving game life thing, and I'm making Dave TV or something like that, you know.
Hmm. So,
Um, Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, in that vein, do you feel like how was the dynamic between the different members of Game Life changing then as time went on? Because it sounds like there really was a significant change.
Yeah, so I do remember. So I didn't really meet the guys until E3, and I had this impression because the most that I've really known about these guys was just pretty much through like the videos that I was looking at and maybe some AIM conversations back when that was a thing. But I remember at E3, Andrew unfortunately would get like pretty agitated with Dave, and as time went on, it actually ended up being kind of a real thing to the point that like Dave leaving, like quote unquote leaving the show was actually not it. At that point, they kind of made up. And it was just like the WWE sort of like I'm leaving and blah 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 and all that stuff, right? But when he ended up, um, Andrew, I personally believe that Andrew kind of took the show like really, really seriously,
Mm.
and he tried controlling things that other people might not have been so easy to relinquish control of,
Mm.
and that started building up to the point that people were the fun of making a Game Life episode was not exactly as I remembered it being. So.
Mm. So would you say so you eventually did leave Game Life?
Yes.
Would you this leads really well into that. Could you talk to me a little bit about that? Like why you left?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was during this point. I was a whole 16 years old at this point.
Ooh.
Game Life was not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So big boy, I could actually drive without my dad in the car and stuff like that. Um, but basically, what had happened was that I missed a month of Game Life because I was dealing with a number of personal things. I was like overwhelmed with work, volunteer work on with excuse me. I was overwhelmed with volunteer work at one of my mom's nonprofit organizations and
Mm.
stuff like that. Um, and I just really, really didn't have time. And if I didn't have inspiration to make an episode, it was actually like, it was really hard. It was kind of like I want to have fun thing. Unfortunately, I do remember Andrew did not take that too lightly,
Mm.
and words were exchanged. One thing led to another, and I ended up just being like, I can't do this anymore.
Mm.
I got to focus on my studies and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I ended up making what makes me very sad to remember, by the way. Just want to put that out there. I made a parody Game Life episode, which I don't remember too much of, but I do remember that Andrew was like, "Well, if you have time to make this, then you don't have time to make my show, whatever. Then you're out." So,
Mm.
um, Andrew, if you're out there, I love you. Come back, buddy.
So actually no, I don't have anything else to add on to that. Any questions to add on to that little bit?
It was a tear-jerking moment.
Yeah. So
Go
so
ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no. So when Andrew confronted you about that, like how did that feel?
It felt pretty bad because, like, here we were working for a year. I thought that Andrew was like actually like, despite everything, that he was like, a good friend and stuff. And um, to be honest, I was like an emotional 16-year-old. So like,
Mm.
hopefully, you know, half adult Jeff, the one sitting here right now, probably would have dealt with it a little bit better. But yeah, no, I believe that just words were said, and just we weren't. There was no way that I could see myself as a 16-year-old just sitting in the same seat as the rest of these guys.
Mm.
Also, to add on top of that, Game Life was definitely kind of like, not only was the excuse me, not only was Game Life sort of a thing that stopped being so fun because like all the internal struggle that was going
Mhm.
on, but also there was a issue with just like I don't have time for it anymore.
Mm.
I think I said something like that, but yeah.
I see. Do you think that part of the strain might have come from all of the attention that the show was getting?
Yes, actually, absolutely. I do remember that um, Andrew was kind of going around, like, kind of feeling like, oh, game life is just going up, up, up. I can
Mm.
like pull whatever fun stuff off, and then I'm gonna be adjusting this to be more professional, like the real shows and stuff like that. I was like, oh, dude, come on! Like,
Mm.
what made Game Life Game Life was the the in your face sort of like no production value, you know?
No, definitely. I mean, that was part of the charm of pretty much all of the old internet stuff. It was alternative media.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The good old wild days of YouTube.
Yeah, it was like comics reborn, comics with an X.
Well, don't worry. We have good content nowadays, like down the rabbit hole, for example.
Buttering me
But
up.
things were a lot more raw and more, I'd say, more experimental back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like the formula had not been too figured out, so like people just kind of threw stuff out there and see if it floated, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, as a little question to tack on, do you feel like Game Life might have, if Game Life had stayed together, do you think it would have kept going? Do you think it would have gained traction or kept traction?
I believe so. I it's easy to see it both ways. Like, no, it was just, gonna, like, it was the fad. It was gonna drop off anyway. But I
Mm.
also saw that, like, it was starting to get like consistent game journalism coverage and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
Destructoid, back when that was a really big site back then, just blooming.
Yeah.
And Kotaku, they were still posting articles about Game Life. So I really think that, the cards were played right. I really do believe that, like, Game Life could have probably even lasted, maybe even to this day, maybe in another form
Mm.
or something. But the spirit of Game Life would still be alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it would have to make certain adjustments to be at least a little bit more professional.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
pretty cutthroat
absolutely.
market nowadays. So, on that topic, was there anything else you wanted to add about, like, anything that during these questions you felt like you wanted to mention?
Oh,
We'll get to the last question. Don't worry. I'm saving
oh
that
no,
one.
not even that.
Okay.
Man, I had maybe maybe after that question I'd be able to remember. Sorry,
Okay.
I just got home
Okay.
from work and all
No,
that
it's
fun
fine.
stuff, so it's just my brain scattered.
No, it's fine. This has been fantastic. I'm loving this.
Oh, I love you.
Is again? Oh, shucks. So one last question: how did your work with Game Life help or hinder you professionally or otherwise?
So I would say that Game Life um has helped me, believe it or not, in the weirdest
Really?
way possible. Yeah. And it had nothing to do with any of the publicity or anything like that, or anyone going back to the old videos saying, "Hey, is this you?" Uh, it was actually just, it gave me inspiration for me to, like, end up creating more videos
Hmm.
and just starting my own thing. Um, and I always took it as sort of a hobby, I guess, but it ended up, like, getting me half known in the fighting game community. Ended
Oh,
up helping me get a job in the industry, and now I'm pretty much a country away, um, doing what I love. And it was the most roundabout, weirdest way possible. But I have to say, if it wasn't for Game Life, I'm not sure where I'd be right now. So maybe I would have been a uh, astronaut or something instead. Maybe, so, but
but it gave you the in into the industry.
it did. Yeah, I maintained my contacts with everybody. I was, like, actually super good with some of the one up guys still. Destructoid pretty much took me in. They let me write guest articles on the website.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh wow! Oh my God!
Dude, I
You,
go dude, I go digging.
no, you you earned your keep, man. Oh my God! But yeah, no. And I just kind of kept at it. Like, I was originally going to be like a game journalist, and I decided maybe this isn't for me. And then ended up doing a bunch of other roundabout things. Made YouTube videos, had a lot of fun doing it. Ended up making friends with one of my friends, Keats. Keats ended up getting me a job, and it just everything kind of rolled in place after that. It was crazy surreal.
What was that job?
Mm. It was a lowly, unfortunately, QA tester, which I've worked my way up since. But that was, oh God, that was like 4 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, I actually, if you have one extra view on your LinkedIn profile, that like an
Mm.
anonymous one, that was me.
Ooh, wow. You are, oh God, I'm not sure if I should be scared or not right
No,
now.
no, 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 don't worry.
No, 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 it's all good.
I'm just saying I go digging.
Gotcha, gotcha. Hey, that's
Yeah.
that's really thorough, and I actually appreciate it.
So There are actually like a couple of other questions. These are not nearly so as like dire. Or not dire isn't the right word. So in the article in Electronic Gaming Monthly, you say, I walked into GameStop and the manager said, "Holy shit, you're that asshole from GameLife." Could you expound upon this story?
I Yeah, I guess I can. I walked into the GameStop. This dude looks like I just like came in and I shot someone. And I'm like, oh god, what the hell? Because I had like my really long hair because I wouldn't get a haircut because I'm in my like rebellious emo phase of my life or whatever. Not that I've dropped out of that yet, but um, and he just says it. He just says it right to my face. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I guess.
So, were you still able to buy your games?
Yes, I was still able to buy games. I ended up being friends with that
Okay.
manager later on.
Okay.
So like, hey, everything ended up working out. But
Okay.
uh
What was it an endearing asshole
yeah,
or
I'm sure, yeah, because no one says
okay.
like, especially, well, I don't know. It is Florida. Anything goes there. But I was gonna say nobody goes and just calls someone else an asshole like as they walk into the store, in this hostile way. So I kind of knew that it was gonna be like, oh wow, cool. I'm gonna have a fun conversation here.
Mhm. Totally. Like there's something to break the ice.
Hmm.
Also, two other questions both pertaining to Melissa. Because she's the person who's perhaps been most mysterious in my research, who I couldn't really find much about. So the first question is, in one of the episodes, her PSP gets stolen. Was that an act, or did she actually lose her PSP?
I'm sorry to reveal here after all the years of all these secrets, that was definitely not real.
Oh no!
I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no! It was so convincing. The guy just booked it. I
It,
was convinced.
she was pretty good at staging, so like she was very good at what she was doing. So,
No, she by far, in my opinion, she was the most professional.
mm.
So actually, that's I have three extra questions. I
Oh my
remember I
god,
wanted
they
to
keep
add one
adding up.
more. No, don't worry, don't
All right,
worry.
I got this. I
Like
got
I,
this.
I, I won't keep you here
No,
all
no, no, no,
night.
no. I'm totally fine. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this.
All right, all right. So to me, and based on what you've told me, it sounds like you and Melissa both edited your content together and then sent that off to Andrew. Is that the case for both of you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't edit each other's or anything. We just edited our own, and then we sent it
Yeah.
off to. Excuse me. Sent it off to Andrew.
Okay. Gotcha. And he just plugged those right in.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I suspected as such. I just wanted to double check. And also, one last thing. What else can you tell me about Melissa and what she was like? Because by far, she was the person who showed her, like, she was very professional, but she also, in a way, showed her personality the least.
So, I'm not sure if you've seen this in your incredible amount of research, by the way. But Melissa had a boyfriend
Yes.
that Jim, I believe Jim was his name. I forgot like pretty much everything. I remember when I visited them. They actually lived in LA. I remember I visited
Mm.
them. They were totally into it. They were the ones that helped get the Game Life crew out there for E3 as well.
Mm.
They were the ones that ended up really pushing the media aspect of Game Life.
Okay.
So these guys knew like what they were doing, but I don't really have any like I didn't have any like expertise or details. I was just a dumb kid back then. I didn't care. It was like, whoa, yo, I'm going to LA.
Yeah.
Cool.
And how far out was that for you? Where were you from?
Mm. Wonderful Florida.
Florida. Okay, so yeah, you're
Yes.
right. You already mentioned that.
Oh yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah, you guys were all really scattered.
They were in Boston area, I believe. I was in
Hmm.
Florida. She was in LA.
Okay, yeah. Just all over the place, which is why you're able to like cover the different launch parties.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, she pretty much did all that, and Andrew just like, oh yeah, that's right. Andrew had the New York launch party.
Mm-hmm. With the horrendous microphone, like the screwed up audio.
Yeah. Oh man, you're more prepared than I am. This is just like a nostalgia trip for me. Like I'm starting to remember, like, oh my god, that did happen. Oh god, what did I do?
It's fresh for me. I've actually looked at the stuff. Don't worry.
Okay,
It's
all right.
no, that's about everything I wanted to ask, honestly. Like,
Cool. Yeah. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Like I'm more than happy to answer anything else.
totally. I mean, everything that you've given me has already been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
No, it's been incredibly useful, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
And thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Keep up the fun DSP work and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I'll let you know if anything else comes up, if I think of anything.
Okay, cool, man. Should I stop recording right now or?